mapping the list. Now, this is the fun part. So, this is where we start making little diagrams. A, which is the first one on the list, links with F. So we're going to write A down and we're going to do an arrow to F. So you start with the same on your list. You start with A and see where it links to the letter. And you go, A goes to F. And then, because F is the last letter that we've got written down, we're going to go to F. And we see that it links to B. So we put a little arrow from F to B. And then we go to B. And we see that it links to I. And we do another little arrow that goes to I. When we get to I, we see that I links back to B, and hence why there's an arrow going in two directions. And that is a core belief system. When you have that cycle of one letter leads to another and that letter leads back to that same letter, you have a core belief or a primary belief. Okay, so now we've got that first little link in there. We've got A, F, B, and I. So what other letters link to either A, F, B, or I? So we're going to go down the right-hand side of the list and look for any A's. Okay, H goes to A. So we're going to write H and we're going to do a little arrow which goes to A. So it goes from left to right all the time. And that then, well, B is the secondary belief. F is the secondary belief because it's connected directly to B. A is a tertiary belief because it connects to F. And then H is the fourth in the cycle that connects to A. So H really doesn't have too much oomph to it. But B and I are the real ones that we want to focus on. And F is probably likely to have a little bit of influence as well. So, and we want to keep going through. So we've done A and we've got a H goes to A, F, okay, anything goes to F, oh yeah, J goes to F, and we keep going through until we've crossed all of these off on the right-hand side. And I definitely recommend as soon as you write it down, cross it off, because otherwise it can get very confusing. So I'll just quickly show you another example of a list. So again, you've got A goes to H, and H goes straight back to A. So that's a really simple core belief system. There's only two letters involved in that, which is scared and jump. So no other letters linked to that. So in that case, we need to start a new belief system. So B goes to C, and you just start with the next letter down. So B goes to C. C goes to B. So again, it's straight back. It's quite unusual for that to happen, to be honest. And then we're going to see what other letters link to B and C. So we can see we've got a C here, so F links to C. We've got an E links to B, and we've got a D that links to E. Yeah, so we're recording them from left to right. So D goes to E, E goes to B, D goes to E, E goes to B. Does that make sense? This is a little bit more complicated. If we have a look at a longer one, money, the famous money. Not surprisingly, this is a big one. So you can see here that the actual core belief is T, J, and P. So T goes to J, J goes to P, and P goes back to T again. And then we've got all the other letters linking onto the T. So there's a lot of weight in the T. So money and thoughtless, there's a strong connection there. So we're going to track back on that thoughtless. And usually what happens is we track back on that thoughtless, that person will start saying other words usually that are attached to that. So you'll start hearing, for example, beyond my means and spending fit. And then you realize that you're in that belief. You've got a really good hold on that belief system, and you really are getting back to the cause of where this money and thoughtless comes from and how it's driving your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. So it takes a bit of practice. And what I've done, or what I will do, is give you access to these slides, and also I do a recorded video taking you through these slides as well, so you can go back through and practice. This is another, alcohol is another one. This is a long one again, and this is a much bigger, so with the money, it was still quite a small core belief system. It was a longer list, but most of those on the list were outside beliefs, symptoms. They become more of the symptoms. And the core beliefs was actually quite a small core beliefs. Whereas with this one in the alcohol, there's a lot in the primary belief system. So we've got a big cycle going on here. Alcohol, bad habit, dehydrate, drunk, stupid, sociable, buying drinks is sociable, and fattening. So you see there's a lot of conflicting stuff going on there as well, which is another huge thing about belief systems and the negative belief systems, and why we find it so hard to give things up is because we have these conflicting beliefs going on. We know we don't want to drink alcohol because we know that it's fattening and it makes us feel crap and it's horrible, but also we have a good time and it's sociable. And we've constantly have this battle going on in our mind. And again, all unconscious. So do you see how this can help you track back to the core belief, to where it all began? And it just gives you somewhere to start. So once you go into this and break it open, you'll be like, oh, okay, I see. So one, you get awareness that you didn't have before. Two, that awareness then gives you knowledge. And it also gives you the choice then to change it and say, okay, I have this thing in my head that alcohol means being sociable. Is that really true? Knowing what I know now, do I still need that to be there? And then with things like, if there's the physiological things like shaking, then it's just about allowing that shaking to be there, which is just a matter of minutes, just going with it, allowing the shaking to be there. For example, if it's anxiety, and just allowing the body to move through that point of shaking, which sounds easy. And if you're having full-blown panic attacks, then that's a very scary thought. And I would say that going through that by yourself is not the best idea. Definitely reach out to somebody that knows how to help you through that, Even if it's not me, find somebody that knows how to help you go through that. And if you want it to be me, by all means contact me. Okay, so yeah. So the key points are to go through. I mean, we went through this pretty fast. In the training, I will go through it a lot slower. In the actual training, I'll go through it a lot slower so you can see it better. But it always goes from left to right. So A always goes to E, B always goes to C. And that's a really key point to remember there. Other key points are check the list before linking to make sure that no words have been repeated. So you might have, under alcohol, you might have angry twice, for example. You can just take one of those out. The own letter cannot be used to link to. So, for example, A can't go to A, but A can go to B and B can go to A. That's fine. So you can go back up. And I definitely recommend that you cross off that letter as soon as it is written down. Otherwise, it does get very complicated. And then from there, well, first of all, do you have any questions on that? No? Good, because it can be very complicated. But awesome. And then the next thing to from there is, again, I'll give you access to my membership site, and in there I have a pre-recorded self-hypnosis that you can use to then work with those core beliefs. So once you've worked out what your core beliefs are, you can take one of those things. So we've got B and I. So anger is a rush of energy and I want to cry. So you listen to the meditation or self-hypnosis and you'll work with rush of energy and I want to cry. Okay, and what it will do is it'll take you through a process to link and track back to where did you first experience that anger, that rush of energy, and that I want to cry, and what was happening for you when you first experienced that anger, that rush of energy, and I want to cry, and who were you with, and how old were you, and taking you back to a memory and experience of when you experienced that. And just allowing you to then go into that experience. Normally, you know, you're younger, 7, 8 is usually a popular age of stuff like this, getting trapped. So maybe you were 7 years old and you were being told off because of something that you didn't do, and you were really angry about not being able to say, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. And you held on to that thing inside. So it's just about using the meditation to go back to that experience and release that. So being able to allow that 8-year-old part of you in your mind, and your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a dream and a daydream and actually something that's happening. That's why when you wake up sweating and absolutely petrified, thinking that you've been chased by a monster and your whole body has been moving and sweating and reacting, because to your unconscious mind it's real, it's really happening, and it's getting your body to react in that way. So your mind doesn't know the difference between the reality and the fantasy, or the memory and the now. So you can go back in and you are free to do whatever you wanted to do in that moment and you never did. You can give that 8-year-old part of you total freedom to, like, yeah, listen to me. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. And just release all of those sensations that are attached to that. And it's really as simple as that.